Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm here to do my once a month let's make a card video. So let's go ahead and dive in. So this is the card we're going to make. Okay, very simple. And I love how it came out. Okay. Super cute. I don't know, you'll probably be able to see down here that an embossing folder was used. I'm going to show you what I used. And then you'll see the splatters. And that's me using Tim Holtz Distress Spritz. So I really, really love how this came out. All right. And then this is the coordinating envelope. Okay. Super cute. Now, as we make this envelope, this is an A2 size, but this is an A2 based off of the envelope punch board, which is 4.5 by 5.5. And I believe in the real A2 is 4.25 by 5.5. So this right here, so like I've mentioned before, on the envelopes, I go up one size so that there's space. And you see that right here, there's opening. It's not super flat because this is not flat. I have a 3mm foam in between this top and the bottom. So now if you're gonna use an envelope, you can either don't use this charm right here because these little beads right here are not gonna allow you to close it. Or, hold on. When you put it inside, you hang it to the side and it does it like this. Now, is this going in the mail? Nope. This is not going in the mail. With or without this. I mean, even if you take it out, you might be okay putting it in the mail, taking this out, but just know that there is some give. And that's because I put the 3mm. If you choose to not want to do that part and you just lay it flat, then yes, it could go in the mail much, much easier. So just keep that in mind that if you choose to do this, where you add the dangles, then you have to hang it outside the envelope until you give it to the person, or you just don't put it on at all. Now you will also notice too, I don't have everything glued to the bottom. I like the look of even here and here. I like the look of it not all being flattened. I like that it has a little bit of lift to it. So I just put liquid glue in little different spots so that some of it would stick, but not all of it. Like even here, it's not sticking. Here, this middle part is sticking, you know, so, and I have just a little bit of cheesecloth underneath just for texture reasons. And then this is vellum that I used for the bottom part. And the part where it says celebrate is a leftover piece you'll see right here. So this part right here, let me see if I can bring, hold on, the light a little bit closer. Okay, just so there's more light. And you'll see that this was just a square piece that I just spritzed on with the 3 different colors. And then I just die cut it out. And then that's what, I already have everything pre-cut here. And then that's what this one is. So this part is all of the different splatters from here. So I love the look of the splatter, how it all came out. So fun. So I wanted to quickly show you that. And so that's how I did the word and this background, okay? So let's go ahead and move this off to the side and let's get started. Okay. So this is the embossing folder I used. It's a Sizzix. I got this from Frank Garcia's studio a long time ago, so I don't believe he has this one anymore. And I don't know the name. Wait, does it say? No, it doesn't say. It just says it's from China. So it just says the Sizzix, it's the Dandelion, and this is the 3D embossing folder. I love these type of embossing folders because they really get into the paper. So that's the one I use. These right here is, I believe this is a Tim Holtz. Yeah, it's a Tim Holtz die with these flowers. Now, any type of die you have that has this type of like wild flowers will be just as fine. I have another one from Sizzix as well that's not the Tim Holtz. It's either Sizzix or Spellbinders. Nope, it's Sizzix. And it's like this. So anything that you have would be just fine. And what I did is I grabbed all of these and I ran them all through every single color. So I have plenty of leftovers of these pieces right here. Okay, I just wanted something that was a little more earthy toned. So that's what I chose to use. So those are the two. All right, the sentiment die is Pretty Pink Posh, and it just says celebrate. I did get this from Frank, and if he still has this available, I will link it below. And I will look to see if he has that 3D one just in case. And if he does, I'll have that. Everything will be linked below, guys. Okay. All right. So I have everything cut out. I'm going to move this to the side. And again, this is an A2, so it's a 4.5 by 5.5. Okay. Let me clean off my mat. And I'm going to use some of these pearls. I get these from Hobby Lobby. I have some twine and beads because I'm going to do the card again with the beads. And this is super optional if you would choose to do that. These are the 3 spritzes that I used. I got all of these from Frank as well. I used tumbled glass, peeled paint, and vintage photo. Okay. These are amazing. Like, I love them. So we're going to do first is we're going to spritz the paper. Okay. Here, let me get that. There we go. I can hear the ball moving. And I'm going to spritz first so that it has time to dry. And we'll start working on other things. And it dries pretty quick. Okay. All right. There are little metal balls in here to help move along. I believe it's like mica powder that's in there, and it all settles. But it's so beautiful. All right, so let me change the camera a little bit so that you can see. I already have this right here is a splat box. It's also Tim Holtz, and it Frank, I believe, does have these. So you will see right here how it looks with the embossing folder. It's so pretty. Now, I did not add another texture when I ran it through because this would have been much higher up, but I didn't want it to be too much for this, or else it would have been a little harder to lay down. So, you know, the plates, it all matters on the plates and how you play, and you run it through your machine. So this one right here, I did it so that it was just lightly put on there. I already have my 3mm foam in the back, and I use liquid glue when I use that. So we're going to put this back here. Okay, so it doesn't matter what order you do these in. And I am no professional, guys, with using these. So what I say is just what I'm doing with my own. If you want the professional, Tim Holtz, go to the master. So for me, what I notice is when I spray it, one, I don't spray it super close. I mean, not too far away or else you're going to get it everywhere. But it's kind of like I don't squeeze it all the way down. It kind of goes halfway down so that the spray is kind of light and not super too much. So you see, I just barely squeeze it. Okay. And that's it for the one color. Okay. And that one there was vintage photo. And this one right here is going to be peeled paint. Okay. And again, hold on. I don't think that spray didn't come out very green. Okay. And I just go down a little bit. Okay. Good enough. We don't need it to, I don't want it to be too much. All right, now we're gonna do tumbled glass. Okay, let's spray a little more over here. This one comes out a little differently, I've noticed. There we go, and that's it. Do not need any more than that. All right, so you see how that comes out. It's super pretty. And I don't blot it. I let it dry the way it is on here. Okay, you can blot it if you like, but I don't want to do that. So I love it. And when it dries, you'll be able to see the micas kick in really nice. Okay, so I'm going to put the camera back down. All right. Just want to make sure. I'm going to move this splat box out of the way because I already did the celebrate part and I already die cut it. Let's move all of this stuff. Oh, actually, let's move this so it can dry up here. All right, so what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and get this vellum that is shimmery, and then we're just going to go ahead and glue this bad boy on. All right. So let's get this off. So I'm just trying these because I know I showed you guys these before. I love these pins, but the silver ones did not work. See, can you see that? That's from the silver. That it started getting bad inside of there. So right now I'm using the bronze and I notice it hasn't changed any yet. So I'm going to hope that it doesn't, but I do have some stainless steel because that's really the metal you would want to use in here. And they're not exactly these pins because I could not find them. So I did order something very similar, but in stainless steel. And I'm going to try those out and see how those work. Because I did have quite a few girls ask me if I was going to be bringing these into the store, into my store. And I would love to, but I don't want to put anything in there until I know it's going to work. And that's why I didn't put the other ones, because I had a feeling it was going to mess up the glue. But sometimes you never know until you try it to see if it's going to work or not. So right now, and I'm using Nuvo glue, and I buy all of my Nuvo glue from Frank. I love it. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and stick this on. Okay. There you go. Perfect. And I love the shimmer of the vellum. It gives that just nice little touch. Okay. All right, now we're gonna let that dry to the side. And then here is the card. And here is the inside. And what I did in the inside of the card is I just put white on white. I wanted to keep everything very neutral. I wanted only the focus to be on the top of the card. So let's go ahead and work on the inside out. And I picked these two flowers like this. And then for this one right here, we'll just go down a little bit, like right there, and I'll end up cutting that part off. And all right, so let's do this one first. All right, let's see how this works. Is it too tall? We'll cut a little bit more off. Okay. So let's push this up here. It's just easier that way. And then, and if this comes off a little bit, it's okay because I have 1/4 inch all the way around. And then we will do this part right here. And I will cut right down here. And there we go. That looks good to me. Okay. So what I'm going to do first is glue this on. Or I'm going to use, this is the tape the glue runner. Get it out. I get this from Hobby Lobby and I love it, guys. I've used it many, many times, especially when I'm doing cards like this. For me, it just works very easy instead of taking out my huge ATG gun. For bigger projects, yes, I'm not retiring that, but I just feel for something small like this, I don't need to use that big one. And this adheres very, very good. Okay. Oops. All right, so we will go ahead and line this up as much as possible. Okay. And now we're gonna go ahead and put these guys on. Get my little tweezers. I accidentally pulled and mixed them up in there, and I was trying to take it out and it bent it right here. So I was like, oh, don't rip. So that's why it's wonky like that. But once I glue it on, it'll be fine. So just using very little in certain parts where there's bigger areas, because most of this I need it to be all the way at the bottom. I mean, all the way stuck to the paper. Okay, so that just means getting the bigger portions. I'm not going to worry about the little skinny part in between there. I just don't want anything to lift up inside the card. Okay. Let's just use my hands. All right. Let's see. There we go. I need it to stay in the card. All right. So it is coming off a little off of this side, but that's okay because it's not coming off the actual card. All right. And then I'm just going to do the same thing with this one. Okay. Oops. All right. Okay. All right. So there we go. All right. So this part will be just the inside of the card, so you can write around it. I just wanted to have something on the inside because I really liked that look. Okay, so we'll let that dry. And we'll put these here for now. And we're going to work on the envelope so I can still give the top part more time to dry. So this is an A2. Okay, and this A2 is 4.5 by 5.5, meaning you cut your paper at 8 1/8 by 8 1/8. Okay, we're going to score just the first time at 3 3/4. Okay, this is just the liner. All right, so 3 3/4. So we're going to go ahead, push, and then that's it. We're not going to look at this anymore. We're just going to match it up to the score line all the way around every score line. Okay. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and use the top part to round those corners. And I do all 4 sides. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and do the liner because we already have this punch board out. So let's go ahead and get the liner. Clear out the trash. Now, this liner is 4 5/8 by 4 5/8. This is the size I need to do this card and this envelope, which I apologize, I didn't even tell you. So you see that right here is the 4.5 by the 5.5, right? That's the actual A2. It says right there, that's the card I'm doing. I'm going down to the 4.5 by 6 right here, right the next one below. And that's what I'm doing the envelope out of. So I cut my white paper at 8.5 by 8.5. And then and that's when I showed you I was going to score the 3 3/4. The measurements are the same. So A2 size, go down 1 so that it's bigger, your envelope. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. Since I mentioned this is 4 5/8, that means you're going to measure it 4 5/8 on here as well. So you will see that it's 4 5/8 right there. Okay, so now you're going to just punch, take it out, flip it upside down, and go to 4 5/8 again. Okay, so that, here, let's do it this way. This is Frank's paper, his spring collection he had years ago. But you see it's rounded right here and rounded right here. That means this is the part that's going on the top of your envelope. So that means this pointy part we're going to round off. All right. Oops, I didn't do a good job on that. There we go. Let me make sure. Didn't look too round. Well, it is. Okay. So anyway, so this part right here is what's going to go here. Okay. So it's like this. All right. So we're going to go ahead and fold it up. Let's put this away. So here's the envelope part. We're not going to glue any part of that down until we put this in first, okay? And when we do this, the part that's peeking up this way, okay, we're only going to add adhesive for the top part, nothing for the bottom. Make sure so you see I do a line right down the middle. Oops, I didn't want that on here. Oh, I was trying to avoid not getting any. I just got this matte, and I didn't want to get any. I'm going to have to clean that off when I'm done because I don't want smudges. I want this to stay pretty, and I just got this from Amazon. I'll link it below, guys, if in case you're interested. It's a really pretty shade. I think it's 22 inches by 17, the matte size. And, oh, that's going to drive me nuts. But anyways, so I love it. And it right here, you'll see there's a wavy part. That means it folds in half if you needed to take it with you anywhere. I won't. This will stay here. Okay. So let's go ahead and right there is good for me. All right. So see, we keep this part, no adhesive. And now we're going to go ahead and work that fold because now I have that extra layer in there. All right, there we go. So now when we glue it, this top down, it'll be able to open and close, open and close. If you glue this part, you see, it's not going to open. That's why you can't do yet. You have to leave that part open. It's not going to come out of the envelope, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my card. And this is how when I have cards that are going to be a little thicker, I'll put it inside first. Okay. And this is how I kind of guesstimate how to make sure how I glue it. Okay. So just put a little bit of glue here. And then here. And then here. And this is where you guesstimate too. Don't go too high up so that you don't get the actual paper. So it's complete guesstimate, guys. That's why I make sure to put the glue on here as well. All right. And then, so then I just push down, not too hard, kind of light, just so that it sticks a little bit. So when I take the card out, it don't pop up, hopefully. Okay. All right, now we can go ahead and make sure we hold this all the way down. All right. Make sure, I feel like it went down a little bit. Oh, geez. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it in there. Because when I did it with this envelope, it worked fine, but for whatever reason. And this is if you choose to not add these, or you're okay. Wait, is the other one in there? No, it's okay. Because see, it's gonna close, but it's gonna have some thickness to it. Okay, so let's take this out. Because I wanna make sure these right here, that they adhere. So we want it to do that. Do you see how it just naturally has like that lift and it's not flat? That's what we want. So this is the envelope part. Now that's done. Okay, so we will push this to the side up here. And let's take this stuff and let's see how this is doing now. And here it is. Super duper pretty. And I don't know if you can see from the reflection of the light, the mica, it's really pretty. I love it. Okay, now I'm going to add liquid glue. Now this part right here, guys, it's, you know, I mean, I would not do hot glue on this because I just don't feel like you're going to have enough time. I would really suggest to do liquid. And if you're going to use a double-sided tape, do not use dollar store or the cheaper kind, because the foam, it'll end up giving up. Now, Frank has artesian tape, that's his tape. Now that tape is like no other. Like when it sticks, that's it. You're not peeling it apart. But that's the only tape that I know of that's good enough for foam. If not, then just stick with using liquid glue. Okay. Go ahead, and then plus not just that, I mean, it gives you some wiggle time to line everything up. Okay. And it does take a few seconds to, well, more than a few seconds to stick and adhere, but I absolutely, oops. There we go. I prefer using liquid. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and keep this part open and we're just gonna work on top this way. All right, so what I did, actually I should have kept the card up here just to make sure I do it the right way. I just went ahead and got, here, let me get my card so I can, so I can see what I'm doing. All right, and I just got a piece of gauze and I just, gauze, cheesecloth. And I just loosen it up so that it looks kind of raggedy looking. We want it to look imperfect. There's beauty in things that are imperfect. And it's just a little bit to sit in the middle, just a little, no form of dimension here. And then I grabbed these. And these are all of the different ones that come in the die. And okay, so this is how I put that. So this is kind of where you layer it the way you feel works good for you. Okay, so I'm gonna get a little bit of glue. Kind of eyeballing where I'm gonna have the cheesecloth, because I'm not trying to get it all over. It's not what I'm trying to do. So I don't want big globs of it, just a little bit to hold on to it. And I'll put it down here, or else it'll start fraying even more. So then we'll go ahead and we're gonna try, oops. Try this one. See how it looks. What I do want is this on top. Let me put this one down the middle. And then put this one, I think I'm gonna cut a piece of the bottom down. I don't know, let's see. Or I could just move them up a little bit. Just a little though, because these are pretty long. Yeah, we'll do that. And I'll just peek through a little bit. There we go. Okay, I'm good. And then we're gonna get this one right here. And this is what's gonna lay right in the middle. And then I do, this is gonna be behind the bee, is I'll put it through here like this. So this part, again, I don't want the ends to be all glued. I just kind of want it a little bit in the middle. I want it to be lifted. Now, if you choose to not want to do it that way because you're not good with parts of it lifting, then absolutely. You absolutely should do what you feel comfortable with. Okay. And then what I'll do is once it adheres and it sticks, then I'm going to start going underneath these, like where the parts are solid. And I'll start adding a little bit of glue underneath. Okay. And I do not use any hot glue because I feel like even though I have a precision tip on mine, I feel like it's still going to glob out. And you really don't want no globs of hot glue outside of this because these are like really delicate. Okay. So for instance, I'm going to go under here. Let's go ahead and close it. I don't want to put it under here. So what I'll probably do is I'll put it a little bit under the leaf. Because I don't want this to be adhered down. I might put a little bit there. It just depends on, as I look and as I move around, there's really no science to this as well. Okay, oops. And then we'll just stick a little bit here and there. Okay. And then we're gonna get a little bit under here. And maybe if you find it easier to just go ahead and do this before laying them down, you could do it that way. For me, it's kind of like I want to see where everything is laying how I want it to be. There totally could be an easier way of doing this, but this is what works for me. Okay. All right. So I don't put anything down the middle because I feel as long as you have some of the important pieces down, then these will be fine. So I might put a little bit more on the sides right here. And then we'll put some maybe on the behind the A. So that this part's still sticking up. And this one, because I feel like if it's so flat, it kind of takes away from the beauty of it having a little bit of dimension. But again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. All right. So I like it the way it is right now. Super pretty. These spritz, guys, are amazing. I bought all of mine from Frank. I have the whole 10 and all 12 that I picked to go inside of it. I love it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get these little cutie patooties. And I believe I used a big one. Oops. Oops. No. Geez, let's just do it with our hands. And just stick it in the middle. Okay. And that's what I have there. And then what I did is I sporadically put some of them in different areas. So I grabbed the tinier ones to do that. So these went on much easier when I did it on my card. All right, and then we'll stick this. Come on, really? Here. I think it's because I keep letting go of it. And I'll put you right here. Well, no, right here. And then one more. Like right. Right there. So, and that's it, guys. That is so easy to do that as far as the card is concerned. And make sure, you know, that you allow it time for the foam to stick to the card on all corners. Okay. All right, now let's go ahead and do this part. Should you choose to do this, this right here is a really, I forgot the name brand of it. It's Maya Road, I think. Let me grab it and I'll show you. I've had it for years. Oh, Maya Art. I just gave it a new name. That's the brand, and this is the twine. I've been using this for probably 6 years. It's 400 yards of roll, 100% jute. But this is Maya Art. just straight gave it a whole new name. But anyways, so all I do, and I love it because it is super duper thin. So of course I have a glass bead. The hole is not super small, so it'll allow it to fit. So what I do is I'll tie a knot at the very end. And I'll tie another one because it's kind of, I want to make sure it doesn't slide off. How's that? So for me, I feel a little better if I just do 2 knots on top of each other. Okay. So that it doesn't come off. And then I'll do another knot behind it. Okay, and I'm going to do one more. And this right here, I believe, I didn't even tell you how many inches. 22, I think I did 24 inches. I just guesstimated and cut it at 24 and rolled with that. And I'm doing the 2 knots on both ends. I love the natural look of twine. It's so beautiful. All right, now we're going to go ahead and do the other side. Oh, yeah. Oops. Sometimes, oh, okay, got it. Sometimes it'll start coming unthreaded because it's, you know, it's twine, so. All right, I'll do another one. Oops. All right, let's do this again. Get it together, Anna. Okay. All right. Then we're going to go behind it so that it stays in place. It's like you got to keep pushing the knot right on the bead so that it butts up right against it. Okay. There, and if it's, see, it's too long, let's go ahead and cut a piece of that off. And then let's grab the card. Oh, let's do this side actually. And then we're going to wrap it around the card at the top and put it underneath. And I actually had it on the other one so that it would be more on one side than the other. Okay. And then I just tie it to the side. If you want to do it in the middle, if you choose to not do the envelope, do that. And then I tie the knot. I don't do a bow or anything like that. See, it's not quite tight enough. There we go. Okay, so I'll have it as one is longer and one is shorter. And this is kind of how it looks, guys. I have to clean my mat because I can see that and it's driving me crazy. So this is the card. Here is the envelope. Yeah, the other one's down there. So I always lift it up like this inside so that I can lift it up as I put a card like this inside so that I can scoot it in. And then it closes. So, of course, these, not so much. So who knows, if I end up not using the envelope, that's okay. I'll use this envelope for a different card. But, or if I decide to want to take this off, I could easily do that. Or maybe if I wanted to, I could take this off and maybe tie it around the envelope part so that it hangs off of here. I mean, you can't put it in the mail that way for sure. But if you're going to put this inside of a gift box to give to somebody, you can do that. Tie this around this part, like wrap it around here. You probably only get to wrap it around once because it's meant for here and not super long. But totally just something very simple so that you can use your sprays. Like I said, these were fun to play with. I really, really am enjoying using those. But that's pretty much it, guys. Here are the cards. So, so cute. Love it. And that is it. So this is the Let's Make a Card for March, and I'll see you back in April to do another card. Other than that, everything will be linked below that I can find. And that is pretty much it, guys. Have an amazing and super blessed day. Bye.